What's up, everybody, and welcome to part 1 of my fall 2023 pickups. I'm doing this in 2 parts because everything you're going to see today is actually from October. I realize how crazy it is to be posting stuff from October at the end of November, but I had 2 conventions in October and then became very, very sick for about 3 weeks, so really couldn't do it until now. Anyway, let's dive in. I did not have a ton of time to go thrifting back in October because, as I mentioned, I worked at 2 conventions. If you're interested in hearing about that, check out my previous video. But let's see. I actually got a decent selection of games for once. I went to a thrift store that's a little, not too far from here, just a little ways down the road, but it has really weird hours. It's only open from like 9 to 1, I think 3 days a week. It's kind of weird. Anyway, stopped in, and they actually had a couple Nintendo DS games that were all complete in box. Nothing too thrilling, but still a couple kind of fun puzzle games I wanted to check out. So we had Balloon Pop, Neves, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it looked cool. Super Collapse 3, and Word Jong. All of which, not sure if you could see the tags, they were all just $3 each, and every single one is complete with the manual and all the inserts. So, got those, and then let's see, it looks like at a Salvation Army, I found a copy of Transformers Devastation for Xbox One. Now, I've previously played this on PS4, but from what I understand, some of these licensed games from Platinum seem to be like out of print due to licensing issues. So it was only $3, so I figured just grab it before it gets expensive. And at a Goodwill, I found one of the Need for Speed games for Wii. This is Pro Streets, and looks like that was $3.99. May have been on a coupon day, too. I don't recall, but it is complete. And if you're not familiar, the Need for Speed games on Wii are pretty fun because you can actually use the Wii wheel that came with Mario Kart. So it's kind of a fun way to play these as well. Couple more games here, but just to finish the stack, I found another one of the Pokemon, what do they call them, handbooks. So this one is for the, gosh, how do you even pronounce it? Galar region? the one from Pokemon Sword and Shield. So if you're not familiar with these, they have a lot of really cool full color artwork. It's essentially like a little Pokedex. And then a lot of them also come with a poster in the back. So, of course, they're from Scholastic. They're, marketed towards kids, but I like Pokemon, so whatever. Then, before we get to those, a few more thrifting things. So, here, okay. These are some computer games. So this, I didn't even know existed. It is a Windows CD-ROM of Walking with Dinosaurs, the old special that was on, I want to say like BBC? Yeah, BBC. So, thought that might be cool. It was $1.99. I'm pretty sure yellow tags were half off the day I got it, too. And then I got, looks like at a Salvation Army, this was definitely half priced. It is a Disney Hot Shots CD-ROM game. It's Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Pinball. So, of course, the Lion King characters. And that was just 99 cents because white tags were half off. So, I'm not sure if you could see the screenshot there, but it's actually just like a pretty cool pinball game for PC. And then this, I could not resist this. I really don't like, generally speaking, I don't like country music, but Chipmunks in Low Places? Come on. So it's the Chipmunks doing covers of songs by Billy Ray Cyrus, Charlie Daniels. I think there's like a Dolly Parton song or two on here. So I love the Chipmunks. I had to do it. Then, okay, I'll come back to these in a moment, but I did get a couple more games. Of course, had to get the new Mario game, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, And I actually picked it up at Target. I went there right when they opened to get the little, what do they call it? Shadow box. So it's not as amazing quality as I hoped. It's all just foam, but it was free with the game, so can't complain. And the game is incredible, by the way. I've been playing it quite a bit. Then had a couple limited run games orders show up. First of all, have Radiant Silvergun for Nintendo Switch, which of course is a re-release of the classic Sega Saturn game from Treasure. Now, I actually did own the Saturn one for a while, but ended up selling it off maybe just a year or two ago when I needed some money. But happy to be able to replay it now on a modern console. And then in this little box here, we got a stack of games that I've been waiting on, I think, over a year. Ridiculous. So we got Sam & Max Beyond Time and Space, which is the second game in the trilogy for Switch. Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which, from what I understand, is a port of the Nintendo Wii version. So I played the PS3 version back in the day, and I loved it, so I figured, give this one a shot. And then a couple games for PS4. So we have Final Vendetta, which is like a side-scrolling brawler that I thought looked pretty fun. And then we have Hatsune Miku VR, of course, from the Project Diva music series, which I absolutely love those games. I have every other game in the series, and did not want to miss this one. And this is the one that held it up for so long. It's Sam & Max. This time it's virtual PSVR game. Apparently this one just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and finally they got it in stock and were able to ship my order. So, hooray! Set these over here. And next, got a couple DVDs. This one I have never seen before, but I thought looked interesting. It is a movie starring Bob Saget, who sadly passed away in recent years. But it's called Father and Scout. So, if I haven't mentioned before, I actually grew up in Boy Scouts. I am an Eagle Scout, proud to say. And this seems to be a comedy movie about, a father and his son on a scouting trip or something. And I like Bob Saget, and I like Scouts, so what the heck. And I think it was only 99 cents, because yellow tags were half off at the store I got it at. Then, this movie I recall seeing when I was probably in, high school, but I have not seen it since then, so maybe it's not good, but Powder. I remember it was about kind of like I want to say he was an albino, a guy who had kind of strange powers, something to do with electricity or lightning or something. But yeah, I just, I recognized the title. I'm like, I feel like I really liked that movie as a kid, so gotta check it out and see if it still holds up. Then this one I have definitely seen and really like. It's the Disney version of Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. And came with this kind of random slip cover saying it's supposed to have a pencil carving stencil kit, pumpkin carving stencil kit, but it's not in there. So here's a look at the actual cover. This is a really cool, really creepy, older live-action Disney movie. Of course, based on the book by Ray Bradbury. So, I don't believe this is actually on Disney Plus either. So that's why I decided to pick it up. Next, a absolute classic, if I use the term lightly, Surf Ninjas. Of course, starring Leslie Nielsen and Rob Schneider. Complete with all the inserts and whatnot. I had to do it. I have all of the 3 Ninjas movies, so I know this one's kind of separate, but I feel like it's part of the same kind of group. Had to do it. And then final movie, or set of movies rather, is the Gunbuster anime box set. So it is I believe the complete series. And so it's got a little art book, a postcard, and then 2... Yeah, so it's 4 discs. And what's interesting is this is actually the Japanese version. So it's the Region 2 Japan language version. So I actually do have a couple Region 2 players. I have a Japanese PS2 and a Japanese Xbox 360. So, I'm not concerned about not being able to watch it. But I doubt it's going to have any subtitles, which might be a little tricky. But still, it was only $5. And I'm pretty sure I looked it up at the time I found it. And it was selling for like 80 to 100, I want to say. So I'm not going to pass that up for $5. Okay, moving on. So I tend to shy away from pawn shops simply because most of the ones in my area only take cash, and I almost never carry cash on me. But in one of the weeks, I think it was the 2 weeks between the card show and the toy convention that I did, I actually had some cash on me, and I stopped in a local pawn shop, and I found something kind of incredible. So I don't know if anybody else remembers these from the 90s, but Tiger Electronics made these, what are they called? Pocket arcade games based on a bunch of Sega titles. So here we have Echo the Dolphin, which of course was the classic game for Sega Genesis, and then there was like a Dreamcast or Sega CD and then Dreamcast versions, as well as Sega Raceway, which I think is like an original title, but it looks like it's based on like F1 racing. So anyway, I saw these in their display case, and I'm pretty sure they were both tagged, I want to say they were either like 25 or 30, honestly maybe even like 35 each. It was a little more than I wanted to pay. And I was just like, oh man, those are really cool. When's the last time you saw these, let alone in the package? And, I was just kind of over there looking at stuff, and one of the employees is like, hey, if you have any questions or you want to see anything in the case, let us know. And I was like, oh yeah, because they also had like a bin full of like Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS games and little sleeves. So I looked through all those, nothing amazing. But while I was looking, she's like, yeah, all our prices are negotiable. And I'm like, okay. So, she's like, yeah, if there's anything you're interested in, let us know, and we can, check the price for you. I'm like, well, I was thinking about these two. She's like, okay, let me see what I could do. So she takes them back into their, little room, and she's looking them up. She's like, how about 35 for both? Hell yeah. I think later that day I looked them up, and I don't recall which one, but one of them was, again, selling for like over $100, and I got both for 35. So absolutely awesome. I will definitely be going back there if I ever have cash on me again. But yeah, really psyched to add these to my collection. Okay, one more, or a couple more video game things. So I got a DualShock. This is the original for the original PlayStation. That was just $2.99 in great condition, no wear on the sticks whatsoever. It looks pretty much unused. And this is a plug-and-play game, but it is classic arcade pinball, which I thought might be kind of fun. So that was $3.99, possibly may have been half price that day too. Either way, I thought it was a decent price, and it's kind of cool. So it's got these like shoulder buttons and buttons here to control the flippers, and it actually has a little plunger that you pull out to launch the ball. So I love pinball, and I'm kind of getting into these plug-and-plays a little bit because I feel like a lot of them are essentially like original Super Nintendo era games, and some are pretty good, surprisingly. But yeah, that was cool. Then I think that is about it for video games. Oh, I lied. One last thing. I found one of the Jurassic Park big box PC games I was missing. So I was at a Savers, and I'm looking through all the board games, and what do I see? Danger Zone for $4.49. Outstanding. Now, unfortunately, the cover is a little ripped. Not sure if you can see. It's got like a piece of tape over it, but for that price, I don't care. So now I think at this point, I am only missing one of the Jurassic Park 3 big box games. And I want to get the Jurassic Park Screensaver, which also came in a big box. And then I'm fairly certain I will have every Jurassic Park big box release for PC. So, getting close. Okay, moving on to other stuff. Over here, I've got some toys I can show you. So this, I thought was kind of neat. So it's a bag, a toy bag from Goodwill. So it's $3.99, and I noticed it's got a lot of the, like, little Christmas Village lamps and whatnot. But I noticed some Lego pieces in there. Now, I've already gone in and, like, rebagged the Legos separately. But this is a Lego store exclusive set from a couple years ago. It's a Christmas sleigh ride set. And I believe it is complete except for one of the minifigures' torsos. But otherwise, like a complete exclusive Lego set for $4. Plus all this extra little Christmas stuff that's kind of fun. Thought that was cool. Then I found, so they sell these pretty much anywhere, like Five Below, Walmart has them, but they're usually like between $5 and $7. So it is a little Mandalorian action figure. Let's see if I can pop them out. So pretty cool, just pretty basic, detailed figure. And get them back. Yeah, I'll set them aside. So it was tagged $2.99, but orange tags were half off, so $1.50. Not too shabby. Then I got a couple dinosaurs, as I often do. So over here we have, this was $1.99, and I believe this is from 1998. This is the Carnegie Collection Tyrannosaurus, which is a pretty valuable figure, actually. So $1.99 is a great price. Then got this really cool Mosasaurus for, the tag just came off in my hand, $1.99. Let's see what collection he's from. Doesn't say. Could just be a generic one, but it's pretty cool. It's very detailed for $2. And then found a Jurassic World figure that I never got around to picking up. This is, I believe it's called a Diabloceratops, which is kind of interesting name, but it's got this kind of action feature. It does roar, but I took the batteries out because it wouldn't stop roaring, and that was just $1.99. Then, on a similar note, I found a very cool Godzilla figure. I think he's probably about a foot tall, but he's got a very, very bizarre action feature here. Oh, he was just $2.99, by the way. But here, check this out. How does it work? It's supposed to be like his atomic breath or whatever, but it just looks like projectile vomit to me. So this is my projectile vomit Godzilla figure. Awesome. Okay, then, oh, actually, speaking of Godzilla, found Jet Jaguar. And he was $2.99, but I'm pretty sure white tags were half off the day I grabbed him, so $1.50. This is one of the newer, I believe, Playmates figures, which a lot of them, I don't know if they're just straight repackages or if they bought the molds or whatever, but they're essentially just re-releases of the older Bandai figures from Japan. So pretty nice quality. He's, you can't really move his legs or anything. I think, yeah, one of his arms moves, maybe the other, I don't know. But still, very cool figure for $1.50. Then, let's see, got this very, very cool Boba Fett, what is this called, a wall defender or something? So it actually lights up. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if you could see it through the video there, but inside his visor lights up red, and then there's also a little light in his what do you call it? Eyepiece, I guess. But yeah, this was $6.99. Pretty cool. That and let's see. This I thought was very neat. This side is a little dirty, but just to show you the price, it was $1.99. This is a Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, and it seems to be like acrylic or some sort of very thick plastic. I'm thinking it was probably part of a store display, maybe from like the VHS or DVD release of Fantasia. But I just thought it was a really cool piece, and you know, I think I've mentioned before we're into the game Lorcana, the new Disney card game, so thought this might be cool to put like by our cards or something. Then, oh, here, another cool toy thing. So I was at a Goodwill, and pull these out. So I came across this controller sitting on top of this bag, tagged $2.99, and I'm looking it over, and I'm like, oh, that's like a Star Wars Imperial symbol. And then I read the back, and it says 74Z speeder bike. I collect speeder bikes, so I scoured all the toy shelves, and I found it. So it is supposed to have a Scout Trooper rider, unfortunately, but to get and it's what, Propel brand Star Wars drone for $3? Heck yeah. I want to say, I'm sure they went on sale at some point, but I want to say these retailed for about maybe like $100, if not $150. So $3, I am not passing that up. Okay, next up, I got some pretty cool decor stuff back in October, which, for Halloween, that's why it's all kind of spooky stuff. But anyway, got this very cool skull with all these kind of like flower and butterfly carvings in it. Hopefully you could see that. So it was $6.99, but it did have the original tag from wherever this was sold saying, I guess it's normally $19 and they had it for $12.99. But I don't know exactly how old this is. So, I mean, that $12.99 price could have been 10 years ago. So, who knows? Either way, I thought it was very cool, and it kind of fits in with our decor. So, had to grab that. And on a similar note, I found this very cool witch's hat tea light holder. That was just $1.97, and it is metal, very nice quality. It's got like the little crook at the top of the hat, kind of cool, and it's all like little stars and moons. And you put the tea light in the bottom. Then this, not necessarily decor, I just thought I might be able to do something cool with this in terms of a display. It's like a little hand display thing. I might have been for like rings, or I don't know. But yeah, just $1.99. So I thought that was kind of cool. And let's see, I got a decent amount of plush this month. So here, let me start with the Halloween ones. So I found this very cool little, like, I guess Day of the Dead cat, stuffed cat, and its paws are weighted so it actually stand. But this I thought was really cool. I want to say it was just 99 cents. And on a similar note, I found a cool little witch, which if you watch one of my previous videos, I found a much larger version of, could have been this same one. I don't know if it was the same company. This one's tag was removed. But it's mostly made of that kind of like windbreaker material, if you know what I'm talking about. This style plush was pretty popular in, I'd say, like the mid to late 90s, and then it just seemed to kind of disappear. So it's kind of fun to see these pop up again at thrift stores. But yeah, that was also 99 cents. Then a few others. This I was really kind of excited to find. It is one of the gummy bears, the from the classic Disney cartoon show. I believe her name was Sunny, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, instantly recognized her in the plush bin at my local Goodwill, and could not pass that up for 99 cents. Then over here, found this very cool dinosaur / maybe Godzilla inspired plush from Caltoy. Still has the original tags, and I think this was from I want to say it was from like the 80s. That's what the tag says. not seeing a date. Anyway, because I vaguely remember having, I don't know if it was this exact one or maybe a smaller version of it. I feel like I had a plush of this exact design, but again, maybe smaller when I was a child. So it was just $3.99, but it's pretty big. It's very, very good quality. It's like completely stuffed. You know, there's no like rips or anything. So had to grab that. Then, oh, here we go. This one is, what company is this by? I think Applause. Yeah, so from 1992. Now, this might look familiar to you if you've ever seen the original Jurassic Park. So in some scenes where they show, like, the gift shop, or I think it might be early on in the film when they're kind of having the little, like, round table meeting, there's a whole bunch of these dinosaurs on the shelves, and this is the exact model that was in the film. So I was pretty excited to find this, and again, just 99 cents. So, cool addition to my Jurassic collection. Then, oh, here we go. A couple others. This I just thought was too cute not to buy. It is a Sumiko Gurashi plush. So this is actually meant to be like tempura sushi. So you got the little like fried shrimp guy up here on a bed of rice with the seaweed band around him. So this one was a little more expensive. It was $3.99, but I looked up this brand and it looks like these retail for closer to like $30. So I had to do it. I thought it was cool, and we have a similar one where it's like a really chonky cat holding a fried shrimp in his mouth in this same style. So I thought it would be fun to pair them up. Then a couple more plushies here. So I got, let me show you this one first. A little baby Princess Peach plush I thought was really cool. So this, I don't know if the scale is exactly right, but when I was in Japan, I picked up some really cool Yoshi's Island plush. So they have like plastic feet so they can stand up, and then they have a little Velcro patch on their saddle, so you can put. At the time, it was all just Baby Mario, so you could put one of the baby characters on the back. So I have a green Yoshi with a Baby Mario, but I also have, I believe it's the pink Yoshi. So I was thinking, hey, perfect, boom. I just have to find it and then see if she's the right scale. And speaking of Yoshi, I got a giant Yoshi pillow plush. This guy, again, was a little more expensive at $5.49, but I'm pretty sure Target sells these for about 20 to maybe like 25 bucks. And it's got like a little hidden compartment in his saddle there to, I don't know, put snacks or something. But yeah, I mean, I love Yoshi, so I could not pass that up. Then that is it for the plush, but one kind of similar thing. I found a very cool Goofy hat. So I think these were probably sold at one of the Disney parks, which I've sadly never been to. But a Goofy movie is one of my top 3 all-time Disney movies. So I thought this would be a really cool addition to that little sub-collection. Again, it was a little pricey. It was $5.99, but I'm pretty sure I used a at least 20% off coupon, so that helped a little bit. And then next, I don't know if somebody just offloaded their collection or what happened, but I found a ton of really good board games in October. First off, okay, so just this one was from a different store, but the other ones I'm about to show you are all from the same store. So this is Hocus Pocus, the game. Again, this was from Savers, where I found the Goofy hat. That was $4.49. And it is, I think not only is it complete, but yeah, all the pieces are unused. And this, I'm pretty sure it retails for around like 20? 15 or 20? So for $4.50, I mean, we love Hocus Pocus. It's, one of our annual Halloween movies. So thought that might be fun. And then here we go. This is all from one store. So let me go through and show you each one. So first off, we have Sushi Go, the card game. That was just $1.99. then next up, I'm not a huge fan of Monopoly normally, but these Monopoly Gamer ones are kind of cool. First off, okay, that was just $2.99, and of course this is the Sonic the Hedgehog version. So it is 100% complete. The only thing missing is a little plastic tray that's supposed to go behind these windows. But even if I never play the game, what's cool about these Monopoly Gamer sets is they come with very detailed little player pieces. So even for these just 4 little characters, $3 I thought was a good deal. Next is a game I was not familiar with, but looked pretty fun. It's called Arima? Not sure how to pronounce it. But yeah, that was just $3.99. And I'm pretty sure this one, I don't know, 1 or 2 of these I looked up at the time, and this one was going for quite a bit online. But I figure, we'll at least try playing it once or twice, and then, if we don't want to hang on to it, I'm not going to lose money on it. Speaking of which, next is a game called Steam Rails to Riches. That was just $3.99. And I'm not like super huge into trains or anything, but I hear this is a really good game, so I figure, we'll give it a shot. If not, I'll just, sell it on to someone that can enjoy it. And next is, this one isn't really a traditional board game, so to speak, but it looked like a lot of fun. It's called Lift It Deluxe. This one was $2.99. And from what I could tell from the back of the box here, it looks like you wear kind of like a little headband with a crane sort of apparatus on it, and you have to like pick up pieces with your head. So I thought that could be fun. Next is one I actually have heard of, and I heard was really fun. It's called Dixit. So from what I understand, this is a game where you're essentially creating and telling a story using the different like cards or game pieces. And at our local game shop, one of the times we were there for a Lorcana League, they had just gotten in a shipment of a new Disney Dixit game, and a lot of our other league members picked up a copy, but we hadn't heard of it, so we didn't really buy one. But I figured I got the original game for $2.99, so now we can check it out. And finally, one more board game that looked pretty cool, 7 Wonders, and this one was $3.99. So this says lead one of the 7 great cities of the ancient world. So it's kind of like a historical game. Looked pretty cool, has really good reviews, and is usually a lot more than $4. So I figured give it a shot. Okay, that is it for the thrifting stuff. But I did get some really cool stuff online. But actually, before I get to that, let me show you 2 quick things my fiance picked up for me. So I believe she was at I think it was Hot Topic when they were having some sort of big clearance sale, and she got me this very cool Kirby stacking game. So what's it called? Nose Kiara. Yeah, Kirby. So basically, you have all these little figurines that you have to stack up in different configurations. And, I mean, just as figures, I thought they were kind of cool. I like that Kirby is getting all this merchandise now. And then the other thing, which she somehow found on clearance, is the Pokemon Halloween calendar. So it's kind of cool. All of this glows in the dark, and then we already kind of went through and popped out all the figures. But to show you the back, this had some really cool ones this year. So it has some like exclusive, there's a Bulbasaur and Pikachu with some like Halloween outfits. There's a pretty cool Mimikyu. And then there's a very cool full-size Gengar, Haunter, and Ghastly all in here. And yeah, I think she got this for like 50 or 70% off for like $10 or something. Awesome find. Thank you to her. Okay, now on to, as I mentioned a moment ago, some pretty cool online stuff I picked up. So first off, this is just something I got because it was finally cheap. It is the Stranger Things Demogorgon figure from Bandai. But this one glows in the dark, and I want to say it was down to like $5 on Amazon, down from like 20. So I'm like, I gotta do it because I really love the design and I love glow in the dark stuff. So $5 is a no-brainer price for me. Next, because this was October, I got some Halloween stuff. Now, let me preface this by saying, where is it? So, Halloween... So, the Blu-ray is not new, but Halloween 3 is one of my all-time favorite Halloween or horror movies. I know I'm in the minority here, but it's probably, in my opinion, the best movie in the franchise. I'm sure I'll get some hate for that, but it's certainly the one we enjoy the most. So, we watch this every year. I absolutely love it. And this year I found out about some pretty cool merchandise. So NECA, the company that does a lot of the very cool licensed movie and video game and, like animated character figures, a few months ago they had I think they were, I don't know if they ran it or if they were just part of it. There was some sort of like Halloween convention, and they were selling an exclusive figure of Dr. Chalice from this movie. So that's right there, Tom Atkins, the actor from this film. And I missed it because I didn't go to the convention, and people were selling it for astronomical amounts online. I'm like, I can't pay that much. That's insane. But NECA, being awesome, re-released the figure on their website, and I was able to get one. So here he is, Dr. Chalice, Tom Atkins in all his glory. So a couple years ago, they released a 3-pack of the 3 trick-or-treaters, and I got that one for sure, and then I was hoping someday they would do this, because they did one of him from another film he was in called Night of the Creeps, but I missed that one. But here it is, finally. And I'll show you the back so you can see like some of the different accessories and poses and whatnot. But what was especially cool about this offer from NECA is it came with his signature on a silver shamrock coaster. So hopefully you could see that without a glare, but this is just so cool. I mean, I love this movie. I love collecting stuff, so this was like a huge highlight for me. And speaking of Halloween 3, another thing I ended up picking up on eBay. So I found out there's a company called Trick or Treat Studios who does a lot of officially licensed masks and merchandise for all the various horror movies. And apparently they had the license for Halloween 3, but it was expiring this year. So anything they had left after that, that's it. So I found out they had masks of the 3 trick-or-treaters, and I got them! So these are really, really nice quality. So here we have the skeleton mask. And what's especially cool is they all have this silver shamrock tag on the back, which, if you watch the film, you know what that does. So I won't spoil it for you if you haven't, but very, very cool. And, of course, we also got the pumpkin. There's that. Very, very nice detail. So they all have tags. They all have the silver shamrock tag. And then finally, last but not least, is the witch. So this one is very cool. Not sure if the color is 100% accurate. I feel like when I watched the movie, or when we watched the movie last month, I feel like the hoods were more of like a bluish color, and this one, if you can see, is like a very dark green. It still looks awesome. It's just, I don't know, something I noticed. And of course it has the tag. But yeah, oh my god, I'm so excited to add these to my like Halloween display collection, whatever you want to call it. So, let me set those aside, and then I have one final thing to show you. It's something I somewhat randomly picked up on eBay. So, if anyone was a Sega fan in the 90s, you may be familiar with something called the Sega Pico. It's Pico. So Pico was an educational gaming system, and it really didn't set the world on fire, at least here in the U.S. From what I understand, it was very short-lived. There's only a very small handful of games. I never actually got one. I kind of wanted one because I think it had like an exclusive Sonic game or something. But anyway, the Pico, although it didn't do amazing in the U.S., it had a much longer life in Japan, and they actually ended up releasing a follow-up or a successor system that was called Bina, and I bought one. So, to give you an idea of what it looks like here, so the cartridges, so to speak, are actually little books that snap into this bottom part, and then you use these little electronic pens to interact with what's happening on the TV. And so this one's a little more advanced, so it actually has like tactile buttons, and it's quite a bit different from the original Pico. But anyway, the reason I bought this is, believe it or not, in Japan, they released some Pokemon games for both the Pico and the Bina. So, as insane as that sounds, there were officially licensed Pokemon games for a Sega system, only in Japan. So I've had my eye on the games for quite a while, but they're always very, very expensive. And I feel like some of them are like over $100 or even a couple hundred, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay that much. But by some miracle, I came across this lot that had the Bina console with both the original AV cable and power cable, and an entire stack of games. And I want to say the seller sent me an offer, and I won this whole set for $45. And I think shipping was maybe only like an extra $10. It was insane. So I jumped on that, and let's see. So it came with a couple original Pico games, which from what I understand don't actually work on this, but you threw them in, so whatever. There's a Hamtaro game, which you might remember. There was a anime series, I believe that would have been like very late 90s, early 2000s, because there were a couple games for like Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance that got localized and published by Nintendo. So we got a Hamtaro game. We have an Anpanman game, who, if you're not familiar with him, he's a very, very popular character in Japan. I would equate him to, not really like Mickey Mouse, but maybe like a Tony the Tiger, because he's basically like a food-based character. So it's kind of like Tony the Tiger. You think Frosted Flakes. So Anpanman is like he sells bread, or he's like a mascot for bread, and all his little buddies are different types of bread. So, I don't know. he's a big deal in Japan. So anyway, got an Anpanman game, and then got one of the Pokemon games for Pico. So this one is a, let's see, Hiragana, Katakana, Kakechata. So it's a writing practice game. So it teaches you how to write Hiragana and Katakana with Pokemon characters, which sounds insanely fun. Oh, so here, to show you what the actual cartridge looks like. So again, this won't work on the Bina, but for a Pico, so it plugs in, and then you've got the pages that you kind of follow along with whatever's going on the TV. And it has the manual too. Okay, so that is the Pico game, but then there's also a couple games for the Bina, including Doraemon, who I would say is like Japan's Mickey Mouse. He's like a huge children's character, been in dozens of movies and TV shows and games, and so this one is also a Hiragana, Katakana, what's it say? Tanoshiku Okeiko Hiragana. So yeah, it's basically a Hiragana and Katakana training or practice game. So here I can show you what this is what a Bina cartridge looks like. So the book is on top, and then the connector is on the back. So quite different than the Pico. Okay, pop that close. Okay, so Doraemon. Then we have a Power Rangers game, which I never really got into them. I watched a little bit of Mighty Morphin when I was a kid, but kind of fell off pretty quick. Still, it's a very, very traditional, classic Japanese franchise, so cool to have. And last but not least, another Pokemon game. So this one is what? Smoji Kaji Chihasobi. Okay, so this one is like a number and word training game. So here again, it's the different type of cartridge. But yeah, this one, I'm pretty sure I've seen this specific one sell for like over $100. So to get all of this for like $50, outstanding. So there's still, believe it or not, there's actually a couple others. I want to say there's like 4 or 5 different games between the Pico and the Bina. So I got to track down the others, but happy to at least get a start for not a lot of money. Okay, so that is everything from October 2023. So again, this is just part 1 of my fall pickups. I will be releasing a part 2 probably within the next week or so. But let me know your thoughts on this video. Did you see anything you want a little more information on? Got some questions? Something you want to add to your own collection? Something you're wondering, why on earth did I buy that? Let me know. Drop a comment below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And be sure to check back in the future for more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.